Today I'm going to show you how I make one of my husband's favorite meals that he enjoys when he comes home from a long day of hunting or fishing, and that is stuffed cabbage rolls. So the first thing you need to do is to bring a pot of water to boil on the stove, and I also have my water boiling for the rice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out the core of my cabbage. And take out some of the outer leaves that are a little messed up. And when the water comes to a boil, I'm going to let it just put in the head of cabbage and let it cook in there for about 5 minutes just to soften until the outer leaves start coming off. My water came to a boil. I have about a cup of water that came to a boil, and I'm going to put in about a half a cup of rice. And this is just the directions off the back of the rice bag. And then once you add the rice, you are just going to give it a little stir. Grab a spoon. And then you're going to cover and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. So while I'm waiting for my rice to cook and my water to boil for my cabbage, I'm just greasing my pan and I'm going to put my cabbage rolls in. And this is a little secret ingredient here, but I use bacon grease to grease my pan. Just gives it a little extra flavor. And that's ready to go. Prepare my sauce that I'm going to pour over my cabbage rolls once they're ready. So I just have a large can of tomato sauce. And then we like a little bit of a sweeter sauce on our cabbage rolls, so I use about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And then there's some lemon juice here. This just helps break down the cabbage leaves so that they're nice and soft. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Just give it a little stir, get it all mixed up. And our sauce is ready to go. Alright, so I have my rice is already cooked and ready to go. So I'm going to start mixing up my meat mixture here. So I have a pound of ground meat in my bowl already. I'm going to add a cup of rice. 1/4 cup of chopped up onion, and I chop my onion pretty fine, but you can chop it more coarsely or finer depending on your personal preference. And then I'm going to take an egg and just beat it up a little bit. And that's going to go down in there. And I need 1/4 cup of milk. About 4 cloves of minced garlic, which is about 2 teaspoons. I like a lot of garlic though. Rinse this off for a minute. Okay. I got that out of the way. got a tablespoon of garlic powder. Lots of garlic. And a tablespoon of onion salt. And then just some salt and pepper to taste. Let me turn my water down here for my cabbage leaves boiling. Okay. Just some salt to taste. We do have the onion salt in there, so you don't want to add too much salt. And then the fun part is just get in there with your hands and mix it on up. One other thing that I like to do that the recipe doesn't call for, but I like to take some of my sauce that I have prepared and put it in with my meat mixture just to kind of get that sauce flavor into the meat as well. Okay, so my water came to a boil for my cabbage, and a lot of recipes I saw tell you to take the cabbage leaves off the head and put them in to boil for a little while, but I found that it's easier if you just put the whole head of cabbage in, and again I cored out the center, and then it just makes it a lot easier to remove the cabbage leaves. So I leave it in there for about 5 minutes until I start seeing the leaves kind of peeling off themselves. And then I can pull them out, and I just rinse them in cold water just to cool them down so they're easier to handle. Okay, so my cabbage has been boiling. You can see that some of the leaves have already started to kind of peel off. So I'm just going to grab a couple of these and put them in my colander here. The outside leaves tend to be a little bit thinner, so they do tear a little bit easier. As you start getting to the more inner leaves, they tend to kind of hold up a little bit better when you're trying to roll up your meat. So I'm going to take a cabbage leaf and I'm going to kind of cut it down the middle. And I'm going to cut out that thicker vein that's in the middle. That's kind of like the tough part of the cabbage, and I like to cut that out. So these are 2 leaves that are ready to roll up. So grab a quick spoon here. My meat mixture in there. Don't need a whole lot. You don't want it oozing out the sides. Just kind of form it. There's my leaf. Form it with the leaf. You just fold in the ends and roll it on up. And then you'll place it in your pan with the fold side down to keep it wrapped up there. Actually, one more here. Just cutting out that middle vein. There's 2 leaves. That'll be 2 rolls. I'm going to grab some meat mixture. Kind of form it into a little rectangular, almost like a fingerling. And just fold in my ends and wrap it on up like so. And then you'll place it fold side down in your tray. And just keep on rolling. I'm just going to finish wrapping up these rolls, and I'll show you what I do when I'm done with all the meat mixture rolls. Okay, so you can see that I'm done rolling my cabbage rolls. They all fit nicely in my pan. And now I'm simply going to take my sauce that I mixed up earlier, and I'm just going to pour it over my cabbage rolls. I like a lot of sauce. It helps them cook nice and soften up in there. Now, you can do one of two things. If you are planning on eating this for dinner tonight, you can go ahead and cook them right now how they are at 350 degrees for about an hour and a half. But usually what I like to do is I like to just cover these up and stick them in the fridge. And I usually actually cook them the following day. Letting them sit in the fridge just kind of helps the sauce kind of soak into the tomato or the cabbages, and it really kind of helps soften up the cabbage leaves a little bit more. But again, they're more than welcome to just cook them like that today. And I'm going to cover these and I'm going to put them in the fridge, and then tomorrow I will show you what the finished product looks like when I bake them. Also, as you can see that I still have a good bit of cabbage left over in my pot. I only used about 8 to 9 cabbage leaves to make my cabbage rolls, because again, each leaf actually makes 2 rolls. So what I'll do is I'll probably take this out and I'll put it in a freezer bag, and then I can always use it later to make cabbage and noodles or whatever else I would need cabbage for. Hi, so I have my cabbage rolls. They were in the refrigerator, and all that I did here, I'm ready to cook them today. They've sat in the refrigerator overnight, so all you need to do is cover them with aluminum foil. And I have my oven set at 350, and I'm going to bake them for about an hour and a half. Okay, so our cabbage rolls have been in for about an hour and a half at 350 degrees, and we're going to take them out now. Careful you don't get steam burn. Look at that. They're just boiling away. They look delicious. All right, I'm gonna call my family in for dinner and we'll see what they think. All right, folks, there you have it. This is what the finished product looks like. Nothing like cabbage rolls with some fresh mashed potatoes, and it looks delicious. If only you could smell it. It smells better than it looks. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video, and please subscribe to Spending Overtime Outdoors. Take care.